I want to bring in our first of many very special guests this evening. Welcome Congressman Mike Waltz to the program. Congressman, thank you for joining us as we go through this breaking news tonight.
Yeah, this is just incredible. 2 assassination attempts in 2 months. I'm a member of the Assassination Task Force. We were just briefed on the failures of July 13th by the Secret Service. Basic standard operating procedures like full coordination with local law enforcement that didn't happen, having everyone on the same communications channels that didn't happen. But importantly, we were briefed that President Trump was now receiving the same level of protection as Biden and as Kamala Harris, who are sitting president and vice president. But yet I'm already hearing from agents that clearly wasn't the case. I do want to commend the heroism of the advance agent that saw danger and took decisive action to take this gunman down. And I also want to commend our Florida sheriffs, the service, and the FBI, who immediately, in a transparent fashion, told the public and had a press conference about what they know when they know it, unlike what happened after July 13th, when we went darn near a week without hearing anything from federal law enforcement. But clearly, we have a very heightened and dangerous threat posture. We have Iran trying to kill President Trump. We have radical individuals here domestically trying to kill President Trump. I have real questions about whether he's receiving the level of protection commensurate with that threat. I think, but my main message tonight is to the left: stop with your dangerous rhetoric. Stop calling President Trump the next Hitler, the next dictator, or saying you have to save democracy by any means necessary. Clearly, some deranged individuals are listening to elected leaders on the left, to the media, and others who are spewing this nonsense, radicalizing people. And now you have multiple assassination attempts, and you have one American dead as a result of it on July 13th.
And Congressman, we're also, as you and I are chatting here, we're looking at some images that were released from the Sheriff's Department just a little while ago that showed some of the evidence that was left behind at the scene. An AK-style rifle, 2 backpacks, and a GoPro. The thinking there is that this guy was going to try and film whatever he was plotting to do. And again, I know there's a lot of speculation, and folks, let me warn you in advance here. We're not going to be naming names, or we're not going to be showing you photos that might be circulating on social media right now until Newsmax can actually confirm that this is the individual. But again, Congressman, my concern as I was listening to the press briefing, which I thought they did a great job sharing the information they had, was the fact that President Trump did not have an elevated level of protection 2 months and 2 days after his head was nearly blown off.
Yeah, and again, we were literally, just this past Thursday, the task force was briefed that he would have the same level as the current sitting president. And I just don't believe that to be the case here, or you would have had that perimeter fully secured. So we have a lot of questions in that regard. And to the point on the GoPro, that's the thing that jumps out to me. Clearly, this individual wanted to propagandize, wanted to get this out there of taking a shot at the president of the United States. Clearly, he was prepared for an extended firefight with ceramic plates in which would serve to protect him in a body armor type fashion in those backpacks. And it's this rhetoric, this propaganda that's going on. Heck, you just had, if we remember, Alexander Vindman, who testified against President Trump. His wife just posted online, no ears were harmed, continue with your Sunday, this kind of sarcastic shoulder shrug. By the way, her brother-in-law is running for Congress as a Democrat in Virginia.
Sickening.
So I'm calling upon people to stop. If you care about democracy, let the voters decide and stop with this dangerous rhetoric. You're literally getting people killed.
You're absolutely right, Congressman. And I did see Mrs. Vindman's tweet. It is sickening, and shame on her. And then she's doubling down on that rhetoric, which we've just got to stop. Look, Congressman, I want to get your take on this. I know that you guys are in the throes of debating a continuing resolution. We heard from Senator Richard Blumenthal just a few days ago talking about the information they got surrounding the Secret Service's actions in Butler County and said it was appalling and that the American people were going to be stunned. Now, look, we don't know what that is. Hopefully we will find out. But here's what I want to recommend. I just say shut it all down. We got to shut down the government, shut it all down until we can figure out what's going on here. 2 times they've tried to take out President Trump. And I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think these are just random things here. We need answers. And if that means shutting down the government to get those answers, I say let's do it. What say you?
Well, I think we should defund certain aspects of it, particularly the parts like the special counsel that has just been wasting millions going after, a document dispute as it pertains to the Espionage Act versus the president's right to keep documents that he wants. However, if you just go to full shutdown, you're going to have military families not getting paid, border agents not getting paid, Secret Service agents are on the front lines right now against this nonsense not getting paid. Keep in mind, you then put the power in the hands of Biden in determining who's an essential employee and who's not. And that gives me real pause, too. So I'm a Green Beret. I'm for precision strikes rather than carpet bombing. But I take your point. Enough is enough. And we have to get to the bottom of what the hell is going on. That's why the speaker set up this task force to basically look over the shoulder of the investigators. Secret Service has been forthcoming about their failures. That's what Senator Blumenthal is talking about. If we received the same brief, I about fell out of my chair, too, when it came to those failures. FBI, on the other hand, has been very quiet in terms of Crooks, the shooter on July 13th's motives, and that's completely unacceptable. So I think we have to take a scalpel rather than a sledgehammer here to what's going on with the deep state.
Well, I think you and I may have to disagree on that one, Congressman, because I think the American people are just fed up. And I think they deserve to know, were these 2 random guys, 2 randos out there, two wackadoodles, or was there something else going on? And we need to know, was this gross misconduct or gross incompetence on the part of these government agencies, or was something else going on? I want to play some audio here. I think we're in violent agreement,
but let's take the paycheck of the leadership, not of the soldiers, not of the agents out there on the front line, because those are the people that wouldn't get paid. So I think we're in violent agreement of what we need to get to.
Fair enough. I want to play some audio here from the press conference talking about exactly how far away the gunman was from President Trump. Let's watch this together, Congressman.
How far away was the president? How far away was Donald Trump when this gentleman was caught and stopped?
Probably between 300 and 500 yards, but with a rifle and a scope like that, that's not a long distance.
All right, not a long distance at all there, Congressman. I mean, again, there but for the grace of God.
Right. Yeah, and if President Trump had the same level of detail as a current president, which again is what we were briefed just last week, you would have had plainclothes officers around that perimeter. You would have had much more coordination with local law enforcement. The Florida sheriff, the Palm Beach sheriff, went on to say that, hey, when President Trump was a sitting president, we would have had that entire course locked down. So I'm pushing the service, and I think this task force needs to push the service. You need to make the level of protection commensurate with the threat. We haven't even gotten into what the Iranians are trying to do right now with their intelligence operatives, because much of it is classified. But I can tell you those are ongoing threat streams and assassination plots, and you have heard nothing from the Biden administration, no consequences from Iran, nothing in terms of an enhanced posture, no consequences on that regime as they're trying to kill a leading presidential candidate. You want to talk about election interference? That is the ultimate election interference, taking out President Trump, who they know will put maximum pressure back on the Ayatollahs. So there is so much to get to the bottom of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Congressman, real quick here. What is your message to Kamala Harris and Tim Waltz? I mean, they're the ones that are out there saying that Trump is a threat to democracy. Maxine Waters just several years back saying get in the faces of the Trump supporters, absolutely harass them. You know, this has been going on since before the 2016 presidential election, this demonization of Trump supporters and this idea that Donald Trump is some sort of a soulless monster who has to be put down. This kind of rhetoric is coming straight from the Democrat Party and its leadership. What is your message to them tonight?
Stop it. Knock it off. And you have blood on your hands. They have Corey Compatore, the firefighter that was killed in Butler, Pennsylvania. His blood is on their hands. And President Trump said it during the debate just last week. He looked over and said, what you're saying about me almost got my head blown off on national television. So we've got to continue to call out the hypocrisy. And keep in mind, the ranking Democrat on the Jan 6 committee introduced a bill to strip President Trump of all Secret Service protection. I just don't think they would actually mind. I really don't. If something horrible happened to him, they have convinced themselves that the ends justify the means, and by any means necessary, he has to be stopped. That's the real danger to democracy, is this propaganda that they're spewing, and that clearly people are being radicalized by to do this type of thing.
All right, Congressman, we've got to leave it there. By the way, that congressman from Mississippi, Congressman Benny Thompson, we name and shame on Newsmax. Congressman, thank you for coming on Newsmax this evening. We appreciate you being a part of our breaking news coverage.
All right, thank you.